Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this video. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is the next installment in my horror movie superlative series. I am collaborating with my good buddy Carl Cook, link down in the description. We're up to 1978 this week, almost done with the decade of the 70s. Now, one thing I do want to ask, if you could please consider hitting that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it, and doing it on both of our channels. Carl puts out 3 to 4 videos every week, and I have this series and my Nails in a Coffin series, which comes out every Friday. I'll put a link up there, and I'm currently in Haddonfield for the next couple of months covering the Halloween franchise. It's a lot of fun. I hope you check it out. Don't forget, after you watch this video, please go to Carl's channel. Again, I'll have a link in the description. Watch his video with the same title, and then go to the community tab on his page, and please vote on who you thought had the better selections, whether those selections most closely resembled your own, or whoever had the better justifications. Doesn't matter. Just watch both videos first, and then vote. It's friendly competition, and we really appreciate it. Well, that's about it. Let's get down to business, and we're going to pick out some horror movie superlatives for 1978. And my selection for the most amazing pick goes to a very, very, very good film. It was really close to decide between this movie and Dawn of the Dead, but I went with John Carpenter's Halloween. It wasn't the first slasher, but damn, it sure is one of the best ever made. Aspects of this film inspired so many other films in the slasher franchise, especially Friday the 13th. Now, only 4 people actually die in this movie, and there's not too much blood in it. But when you put it all together with the score, the cinematography, the directing, the performances, all the characters in this movie were written so well because they felt like real people. They weren't caricatures of what people were, thought to be like. Jamie Lee Curtis, she helped define the final girl with her performance as Laurie Strode. And I use Final Girl as a compliment because without Laurie, we may not have had Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street or Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2. My favorite Final Girl from the Friday franchise, which I did cover on my Nails in a Coffin series. I watch Halloween every year, especially in October and a couple times throughout the year because it's such a well-done movie. It's fantastic. It was close choosing between Halloween and Dawn of the Dead, but I like Halloween just a little bit more Dawn of the Dead, but it's like choosing between $100 and $101. Halloween just squeaks out. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's in my top 5 horror movies with Return of the Living Dead, The Thing, Black Christmas, Halloween, and Cabin in the Woods. Halloween is my pick for most amazing horror movie to come out in 1978. My selection for the most so bad it's good film goes to The Bees. It's about killer bees that are smuggled into the U.S. and they mutate into intelligent insects with an attempt to take over the world.
Everyone will work for Swarm.
There are even negotiations between the bees and country leaders. It sounds preposterous and silly, and it is, but it's still a fun movie. It stars John Saxon, which is always worth the price of admission. He's great in it. There is lots of stock footage used in this movie, which really breaks up the pacing of it, which is why one of the reasons why I selected it for so bad it's good. But it's one of those movies you still enjoy watching and laughing at. Sit down with a bunch of friends and just laughing at this movie. That's why it's so bad it's good, because you should have a good time with it because they play it serious in the movie. There's even a scientist talking to bees by buzzing into a microphone. It sounds silly, but it works. It's a fun movie. I think you definitely should check it out. Not the greatest movie in the world, but it surely is a so bad it's good film. And my selection for the most WTF movie, I Spit on Your Grave. A movie I really don't want to watch again, and not because it's a bad movie or I hate it. It's a well-made movie, but it's hard to sit through, especially the first 2 acts. The 3rd act, where the revenge starts, that part is a lot easier to watch. But the events that happen in this movie are very WTF. WTF. It goes excessive, and you're even going to ask yourself a couple times, what the WTF is going on here? How much can one person take? And I got to give credit to the performances in this movie because they played the roles very, very convincing. This is one of those movies that was on that video nasties list in the UK, and it is a controversial film, and it's a type of controversy that can make a film a cult classic, and that is the case with I Spit on Your Grave. If you can handle the subject matter, and totally understandable if you cannot, I would recommend this film just for, that cult, shocky exploitation feel. Just know that if you watch this movie for the first time, it's one of the most WTF films ever made. And it surely is one of the most WTF films to come out in 1978 with I Spit on Your Grave. And my selection for Best Gore, a movie that was very close in contention with Most Amazing, but I found a comfortable spot for it with Dawn of the Dead. It's not often a sequel is as good as the original, and in very rare cases can surpass the original. I think that's the case with Dawn of the Dead. I would expect many people to have this movie as their Most Amazing for 1978, and that's an excellent choice. But I think it's going to fit comfortably in my Best Gore category. Effects by Tom Savini. I mean, that's really all you have to say for Best Gore is that effects are done by Tom Savini. The helicopter zombie kill is awesome. You have the SWAT team taking the apartment, and that's filled with the excellent practical effects that just, shock you. When the bikers take them all, there's even more gory effects in this movie. Dawn of the Dead is one of the best zombie movies ever made, hands down. It's memorable for so many reasons. The commentary, the acting performances, the directing by George Romero, the story itself, how he continued on from Night of the Living Dead, but the gore effects in Dawn of the Dead are fantastic, done by Tom Savini, and when you hear that name, it's easy to see why I had selected it as Best Gore. And my selection for the most unique movie to come out in 1978 goes to Patrick. What makes Patrick so unique? It's about a comatose patient that uses psychokinesis to get his way. He also has his eyes open the entire movie, and that really is unsettling. This character who plays Patrick, he doesn't move for like 99% of the movie. He's just laying in bed, totally still with his eyes open. And this is an original story, and where the protagonist never moves. And I feel that it is really unique because they pull it off really well. It's not a plot device you'd think that would work, but it does work here. The story is great. It's an interesting film. You got this patient who's comatose who has, telekinesis powers, and he's using them to get his way, communicating with people, even killing people. It's really weird. You got the nurse's relationship with him, his relationship with the doctors, him just getting revenge. You never really hear him speak, or do anything physical, so it's a fun movie. Patrick, yeah, my most unique pick for 1978. My selection for the most overrated pick, I selected Damien the Omen 2. I mentioned in last week's video for 1977, my most overrated pick, I selected The Exorcist Part 2. And I had stated how they should have left the franchise alone since the first was such a good movie. This is the exact same case with Damien the Omen 2. The Omen is such a good movie, they should have left it alone. They rushed this movie, 2 years after the release of The Omen, and Damien is now turning 13. He's in some military academy where he's learning his destiny as the son of Satan. They did nothing new with this movie. They just made Damien this smug little kid you want to punch in the face. And yeah, it wasn't fun. There was nothing new in it. It was just a rushed story that they just got out because The Omen did so well. So, hey, let's make him a preteen now and continue on. I didn't care about any of the characters. Nobody was charismatic or really memorable in this movie. At least in The Omen Part 3, you got Sam Neill. But this movie really has nobody. There's no memorable scenes. It just feels like a rushed story. And yeah, they just trying to ride the coattails of the first Omen. It wasn't fun. Didn't really care for it. Not a movie I would recommend or choose really to watch again. So I selected it as my most overrated selection for 1978. And finally, my selection for the most underrated movie goes to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I know a lot of people have heard of this movie, but when you dig deeper, I don't think many people have actually watched this movie, which is unfair because it's such a fun movie that surely is underrated. If you've never seen this movie, I'm sure you've actually heard about it. It's about tomatoes that become sentient and they revolt against humanity and try and take over the world. And it's played serious in this movie. And it's a ton of fun. You're going to laugh at the absurdity of this movie. And it's based off of movies like The Birds, which is really interesting. There are fun characters in this movie. Like you got the parachuting soldier, Wilbur Finletter, who's even in a Saturday morning cartoon show that came after this. I say this movie is underrated because I think the majority of people have heard about it, but they haven't watched it. Yeah, it sounds absurd, tomatoes trying to take over the world, but you're going to laugh at this movie. Sit down with a bunch of friends, check it out, and hopefully you'll agree that Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is an underrated movie. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my selections. Here's a quick summary. Most amazing, the iconic movie from John Carpenter, Halloween. So bad it's good, The Bees. Most WTF movie, tough movie to sit through, especially the first 2 acts, but it's not a poorly made movie. I spit on your grave. Best Gore, all you gotta say is Tom Savini with Dawn of the Dead. Also could have been most amazing, but I think it's gonna fit comfortably in my best score. Most unique, you gotta check out the movie Patrick. It's a ton of fun. Most overrated, yeah, just skip Damien the Yeoman 2. I didn't care for it. And most underrated, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. They even have a theme song. Blast of a movie, my most underrated pick. Thanks again for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. Now, if you haven't done so already, please go to Carl's channel. I'll have a link down in the description. Watch his video with the same title. Then go to the community tab on his page. He'll have a poll up for everybody to vote on who they thought had the better picks, whether they most closely resembled their own or had better justifications. Friendly competition. Check out both videos. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button as well on both of the channels and a notification bell so you don't miss a video. I have my Nails in the Coffin series, which comes out every Friday. And like I said earlier, I'm in Haddonfield until October, and it's a ton of fun. Definitely check out those videos. I really appreciate everybody. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.